Let's do some sitting, some chair. So you'll be sitting in a chair sideways to the camera. So a bit further
I'm gonna
back.
tip,
I want to
tip.
be able to see your feet and your head. I think that should probably work pretty well. Yeah, that looks good.
Okay. Do you want my noisy shoes or no?
No, we don't need noisy shoes
Okay.
today. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through that coming forward part, so you won't be able to face the camera for this.
Okay.
You're going to sitting on the front edge, right? Now your feet are flat on the ground, right?
Yeah. Do you want me to give you a little more feet?
That's fine. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Now, arms for this little exercise, yeah, your arms are hanging free,
Okay.
and you could just experiment with rotating your whole body around your sits bones a little bit, leaving your arms alone. Yeah, you could even go back a little, back towards the backrest, arms hang. Notice how your arms are they caught on the chair? Yeah,
Yeah, there's caught on a
okay.
chair.
Yeah, I thought so. And then coming forward, the key thing here is you're letting your arms continue to fall and go as far as you comfortably can. Don't overdo it. Okay. Okay, good. Now, what I'd like you to do is do you think that you can stand up from that position?
I can try.
Give it a shot, but don't go all the way to the end of the line on standing up. Go like three-quarters of the way up. Yeah,
Hmm.
good. Keep going. Keep going. Now, stop there. Stop. Whoa, whoa. Stop there. Okay. Now, your arms are hanging free. Just make sure.
Yes.
Now, and can you just turn your face so it's more or less looking forward just a bit. Yeah. Now, is your sense of things that I imagine it seems to you as that you have not reached full verticality,
No,
right?
I feel like I'm tipping forward.
Yes, and you are. But what we need to do is be very careful just for this exercise, not in real life. Be very careful to go slowly and mindfully. So use a direction of your choice and think that as you keep going towards more verticality.
Want me to go now?
Yeah, yeah. A little
Okay.
bit, just a little bit slowly. We want to, yep. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, look, this will be very interesting for you to watch, I think.
Okay.
First question, do you feel like you're standing up?
No. No.
Okay, now,
I'm not there yet.
n- yes, maybe we'll see. So, w- what you are doing is tilting your head down. So, I want you to be looking out at the world in front of you, even though there's not a whole lot of world there, is there? It's like,
There's a picture of Bilbo's house at Bag End from the Lord of
okay,
the
wow,
Rings
there you
series.
go.
So I'm in a happy place.
Okay. So right now it seems to you there's a little further to go before you're really standing up, right?
Yeah, I still feel like my legs are like even kind of
Mhm.
need to extend.
Okay. Now what I want you to do in a moment is go go to where it seems like I'm properly standing up, but yeah, just go ahead and do that. Let's just do that first.
So not my Alexander technique way, just stand up
Um,
tall.
I think it'd be best just to do it without a lot of thought the first time. So just complete the process of standing up.
Okay, here I go.
Yeah.
There, I did it.
Okay, now stay there. Is that you're standing up now, right? And
Yes.
um, you notice anything about your lower back? It's
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of curved in just a hair. Like I took my
you're
shoulders too
arching
far
your
back.
lower back.
Yeah, I did that just a little bit.
You'll see in the video, it's a little more than a little bit.
Dang
Uh, and
it.
your shoulders are back and your pelvis is forward. Now,
Okay.
one other thing, I don't want you to change that. I want you to stay there for a moment. That's you. Do you feel like in the real world outside of lessons, if you were standing in front of a class, this is more or less how you'd be standing?
Yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
don't stand still a lot, but
All
yes.
right. But if you were standing, now you snuck back a little bit to
I know.
I just want to point that out.
Yes. Well, once you said it, I was like,
Okay,
oh
now
yeah, my
stay
back
there in
got it.
that that
Less
position, if we want
helpful
to call it
position.
that.
Got it.
And I want you to put your attention on your thighs and in particular the muscles in the front of them.
Hmm.
And do they seem to be working or doing anything?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, and now could you exaggerate what you're doing now just a little bit and notice what those thigh muscles have to do? Yeah. What's going on with them right now?
Well, they engage to counter the weight, right?
They're engaged to keep you from falling backwards on your head. They really don't want you to do that. That's a pretty good sign that you're over straightening.
Okay. Okay.
So come, if you could retreat as it were back to less. Yeah, yeah, right there. Now, that doesn't mean your head has to tilt down. It just means your torso, your whole body needs to go retreat from that over straightening.
Okay.
But you still
Yep,
want to
I
be
feel it.
looking out. Now,
Okay.
what does that seem like?
Well, then yeah, I definitely noticed that like my I'm more balanced here.
And but does it? But from say a non-Alexander question might be, does this feel to you like inadequate standing up? Like I'm not really standing up yet.
Well, non-Alexander, like pre-Alexander
Yeah.
lessons, I would say not yet.
Okay.
But after I think now that I know what I know, I can definitely feel that this is a much more comfortable and better choice for standing up.
And for some people who habitually would over straighten, going to this situation that you're in
Hmm.
right now would feel to them as though they were slumping.
Yes, I think previous me
Mhm.
would have felt like this was not enough.
Right.
Hmm.
Exactly. Not enough. That's a good way to put it. Because I think you, like everybody else, has an idea about what is the appropriate amount of effort
Mm.
that I need to make in order to be standing up prop. Well, most people would say straight, which is not a good idea because your spine is curved. But
It's hard to find a better word, though. I've been trying to find a better word.
taking uh, claiming your full height, maybe something like that.
Claiming your full
Because,
height.
because
I gotta write that down.
write it down, write it down.
Claiming your full height. Because I've been
I
trying
just made that
with
up.
my students and myself
It's
claiming.
really, yeah, well, that is kind of what the Alexander technique is about. It's claiming your full, um,
Yeah,
the
you
whole
don't think that'll make
space, your full allotted space, you might say. Yeah, see now that's really pretty nice right now, right?
Oh, thank you.
Now, but here's the thing you have that you can take advantage of.
Okay.
at least
Okay.
for a while, until you get used to doing this habitually, is those muscles in the front of your thighs are they are the canary in the mine for this.
Mhm.
If they are tightening,
Okay.
and they do that because they're not designed for that. It is
Mhm.
they're not designed to be postural muscles. Yeah. So they're going to kick in and keep you from falling back, but at some cost, because they're also the muscles that are involved in moving your legs. And that's really what
Mhm.
their job is. Their job is not to stabilize your posture.
Mm.
It's just not their job. But they're capable of doing it. And they
Okay.
will do it because your unconscious mind's got doesn't want you to fall over on your back on your head.
Right. And I'm glad that it does that.
Yeah. So they're a great signal. So you might want
Okay.
to experiment with, let's say, do a little deliberate, just a little deliberate over straightening, just a little, not even come back to the previous stance, just like a little bit, a third or a
Yeah.
fourth of what you just did, a little over straightening.
Okay.
That's plenty. That's plenty.
Okay.
Notice how much more they've kicked in.
Yeah.
And we've already explored what happens if you really overdid it, right?
Uh-huh.
They would kick in even more. Um, so you're noticing what they're doing to keep you from falling backwards with just a little over straightening. Now,
Hmm.
let go of that over straightening. Yeah. Notice what's going on with those muscles.
Yeah, they don't have to engage as much. They can.
Yeah. They're a lot happier. And the thing is that if you are actually going to go into an activity of any kind, walking, conducting, singing, whatever, you're doing it if you're over straightening, you're doing it within a framework of part of your body is concerning itself with keeping you there. And
Mm.
that's going to indirectly affect your vocal mechanism.
Okay.
You can't separate this out from everything else because
Mm-hmm.
it it really is true that everything in you is connected to everything else.
Yeah.
It's not a
Okay.
saying, it's an actual truth.
Actual thing. Yeah.
It's a real
Every
thing. Yeah.
everything's connected. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that would be a great experiment and um, to run for yourself. I mean, you could explore moving backwards and forwards on the chair and being clear that your arms are hanging free. That's a pretty useful exercise because basically you want your arms to be free unless there's a reason not. I mean, unless they have a job to do. Like you're sitting here right now, uh, if you let your arm, if you, let's say there's a computer screen in front of you, maybe there is for all I know, but
It could
let's
be.
say you were going to, maybe do some work on the computer, you'll have to use your arms.
Hmm.
Letting them just hang free is giving them is letting them kind of recalibrate what nothing is for them. And then, I'm not saying you can never have them rest on your lap or whatever, but I think it might be a nice thing to play with to really allow
Yeah.
those guys to just do nothing and like when you're walking, they're swinging, but they're not swinging. Your torso is swinging, your arms are just fitting it, are if I rotate my torso, well, my arms are moving.
Little equal opposite reaction.
Well, they're not they're moving not because they're doing anything. because
Hmm.
because my whole torso is changing and there and that's pretty much what walking should be. If you're walking, your torso tends to have a little spirally movement, and your arms can just hang free.
That is so funny. There's a guy in the neighborhood who walks like that. And I've always thought like how funny it is that he doesn't like do this. He
Yeah,
just
he,
lets his arms be.
well, think about it. What is necessary in order to walk or to run or to be on your spin cycle, right? You're using it's pretty much the efforting is coming from your pelvis and below your
Hmm.
legs,
Right.
basically, right?
Yes.
Your arms do not help you to walk, other
Hmm.
than they could impede your walking by being stiff and making it a little harder for your body
Yeah.
to do whatever movements sort of come up in walking. Yeah.
Yeah. That, I did without, man, okay. So when I was recording my audiobook this week, I was wrestling with previously, do I speak and use hand gestures because hand gestures, maybe that makes it sound, maybe that in turn would make my voice sound a little bit more genuine. But then the last week I've been just dead arms is kind of what I was calling them, and just putting all my, just kind of letting go of the thought of arms and using a direction just.
I wouldn't want to, I'm a little upset with the phrase dead arms. Um, they're very alive,
I didn't mean to upset you.
huh?
I
It
didn't mean to
upsets me
upset you.
in a very minor way. But I mean, they're not dead. They're alive and they're ready for doing whatever's needs to be
Alive and
done.
ready arms.
They're ready.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, they're they're really, I mean, they are part of the shoulder girdle that we talked about
Yes.
before.
Yes,
And
that's true.
there's when you walk, there's typically a little internal movement in
Hmm.
I mean, when you move a leg forward, your whole torso has to adapt a bit, and then the other leg. So there's some internal movement in your torso.
Yeah.
And you want to leave your torso alone too, not just your arms, because
Okay.
let it do what it's going to do. Actually, I think this would be a good place for a little walking experience. You got
Okay. With the shoes or no?
yeah, let's put the shoes on. So the clogs. Yeah, let's have the clogs. Let's bring them
They've
back.
been, they really have been wanting to come back and
I know
play.
they have. Yeah. If they have felt a little left out, I'm sure.
Yes, they have. They don't get to be the center of attention very often.
Right. So let's just walk back and forth without any direction. Just, yeah, good. And then come back. Okay. So, all right. Now, if you would turn around, and this time your intention, you could even call it a direction, but let's just call it your intention is whatever movement shows up in my torso, particularly the upper torso where it's likely to be most noticeable. But
Okay.
any anything my torso seems to be doing, I want to stay completely out of that.
Okay.
Even if it feels like it looks weird to other people. So I'm watching you. Just let
Okay.
your torso do whatever it feels like doing as you walk.
Got it.
Off you
So
go.
off I
Just
go.
just
Right.
that. Just that. We're not even using yeah. And the same thing on the way back. Okay, what did that seem like?
Oh, I mean, it was definitely lighter.
Did the clogs give you any information?
Yes, they were quieter.
All right. The clogs, the
They,
clogs are
they
very
slept.
useful for experimentation. I don't
Uh-huh.
recommend you wearing them in
Yeah.
life that much, but yeah, you're um there's going to be movement here when you're walking, as I said, and I
Hmm.
think the tendency sometimes is for people to think if there's movement here, it often feels like it's so much movement that I'm going to look weird to my neighbors. But I can guarantee you it won't be that way. It
Yeah.
feels like a lot, but visually not that much. But notice that your arms are moving more for sure when you're doing,
Yeah.
right? Because
They are.
they're fitting in with the movement of your torso. You're basically saying, I'm leaving. You could even just think of it as the entire upper part of my body, including the upper part of my arms, and maybe trust that the lower arms will figure out that they don't have to do anything either.
Hmm.
Um, that there's nothing for you to manage
Hmm.
in that area.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Nothing to
It's not,
manage.
yeah. And that might feel to you like someone watching you is thinking that's a weird way of walking.
It feels good though.
But they're not going to think that. It's
Mm-mm.
just that it seems like a lot of movement. It's really not that much. But
Hmm.
compared to zero or close to zero, it is a lot of movement.
Because yeah, I mean, I think normally you'd kind of like bring your arms up and
Oh my God, yeah. Power walking.
really get it. I
I
mean,
see it all
I
the time. Oh.
yeah, I mean, I really walk, Robert.
I don't know where that originated. I have no idea because as a kid, I never saw anyone doing
I think
anything.
I think there's
But
is there Olympic power walking?
no, I don't. It really doesn't make any sense to me because it's a kind of a faulty idea of what's doing the work.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something I hadn't really thought about,
Now,
how
after you
invasive
do
it would
this a
be.
little while,
Hmm.
and this would be good for, well, when you're on the spin bike, your hands are on something, right?
Generally, sometimes we take them off. I mean, or like just
I
you just
would
use your
I
arm for
would
balance.
experiment with having as light a touch as possible. It might
They
be
do
very
coach
interesting.
that quite a bit.
Huh? They
They
coach
do
that?
coach that quite a bit.
Yeah,
But
just
I mean,
they're
I could
there,
take it to the next
they're
level.
there maybe partly as a safety mechanism to keep, like if you lose your balance, your hands are already ready to
Hmm.
clench. Remember,
Right.
I talked about using directions going down a staircase. I said,
Hmm.
good if you had your hand lightly on the railing because you're changing
Definitely.
your coordination and the steps
Yes.
are a little higher than just walking. If you trip and fall down a staircase, that's a big deal. So having your hands there or a hand there ready to grab, but not grabbing. That would
Right.
be ideal. Yeah.
Right.
So um I think that I think any questions about that, what we just did?
I really liked it. I'm gonna enjoy going back and rewatching all these videos
You're
because
gonna
I
love
feel
it.
like I'll like
Yeah.
get to experience the lessons all over again.